Huge savings going on here at Viral Hip Hop News. If you've ever wanted to promote your brand with the platform, there's never been a better time to do so. Email me, dlsmediainc1@gmail.com for details. And if you're a subscriber, go to my channel memberships available on my homepage, Sam I Am Viral Podcast, exclusive content available to all my channel members. Click the link, find out how you can join. Now, let's go.
If you remember, Gloria Allred daughter is Lisa Bloom. She was representing a lady against Kevin Hart. And when Kevin Hart was accused of having this extramarital affair with this woman, and he denied her and said it never happened, he ended up selling it out of court for a couple of $1 million because he defamed that young lady. Because now he defamed her reputation and making her out to be a liar.
Wow, man. And because of that, he owed money. Because of that, it cost him pretty much.
He defamed her. So, you know, they tell you in your memoranda rights, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say that can be used against you. You know, so you cannot legally use a word like extortion. You could say, I'm not going to be your bankroll, but when you say a person is extorting me, you're defaming that person to call that person extortionist. Now you have to prove it.
Deep.
See, words are so important, but words have the ability to come at you in a way that other side of the world know the system. We think that we're dropping knowledge half of the time, but we have to be careful with our words, even in just regular conversation, even when we're trying to defend ourselves against someone. We have to be very cautious and careful of our words. So Busby is not some idiot lawyer who's sitting around, because what he is going to do is join forces with other lawyers who have deep pockets to form class action civil suits against so many of these quote unquote entertainers who were at the Diddy freak-offs and at his parties. Because what I get to say now is that you was an accomplice in knowing something was happening at this party and you said nothing. So who wants even a slight charge, a fraction of a charge waged against them when it comes to sex trafficking and sexual assault? Nobody wants that. So people start talking. And people cut deals, under the table deals, and say, redact my name from this and don't bring me into this. And I'll settle with you with this amount or that amount. At the end of the day, it's like every dime adds up and every penny adds up to $1. So if I get $1 million out of this person, I get $2 million out of this person, you know, I'm getting 40% of that regardless, plus all my expenses I put into this. These guys don't dump this kind of money and take this type of public scrutiny that they take these lawyers unless they have something. And don't think that they're not talking to the prosecution. Don't think that they're not friendly with the prosecution. Because the prosecution, at the end of the day, they don't want to walk away looking like they have egg on their face. They need to win.
Yeah. Right.
So what you do, you acclimate Robert Kelly, you acclimate Sean Combs, you acclimate them into these conditions of not giving them bail, because you said, well, you're going to do some time anyway, so I want you to just acclimate yourself so you could get comfortable in this setting. But you never get comfortable because you start thinking about your favorite foods. You start thinking about, man, I have no privacy. Everything is out in the open. The guards get to watch me take a shower. Female and male get to walk me to the shower. You have no rights. Your rights have been taken away from you. So in order to get some of those rights back, you start giving the government information and you start handing over people.
Right. Now, every day now we've seen, since Diddy's been locked up, a new accuser comes out. My question will be, do you see this case, you know, one, more accusers coming out, And two, do you see it turning criminal?
It's already in the criminal process.
Wow.
It's already in the criminal process. If you go back and look at Mr. Cosby case, there were no civil suits waged while the criminal proceeding was going on. The criminal, it's like the Daniel Penny case where the guy chokehold the guy in the subway. The judge dismissed that case, but now they have the proper avenue now, and that has given them light to go after him civilly. It's the same thing with Sean Combs. The criminal case is a situation where fuels the civil cases. So right now, in order to, where people are trying to say, hey, if you don't want us to work for the government and you don't want us to become a witness for the government, you need to settle this matter. And the problem with Sean Combs versus Mr. Cosby, we had AIG Insurance. AIG Insurance supplemented our criminal trials. They paid for our criminal attorneys. They paid everybody. They paid for our researchers because it was to their benefit for us to win a criminal trial, because if we won the criminal trial, they wouldn't have to pay the money out on the civil side.
Mm.
So what Sean Combs doesn't have, he doesn't have an insurance carrier right now. He's just operating on assets and liquid. And most of these people that you see today in this realm of quote unquote billionaires, most of the people are more asset rich and cash poor.
Yeah.
So right now, people are looking at all of his assets and they're looking at, okay, well, he could sell something and settle this matter out. And what they'll do is a garden, what they're probably coming to him now and saying, let's do a garden variety settlement. But right now, that one settlement that he was forced into with Cassie, it became the inferno, where he should have just stood his ground and said, you know what Jay-Z is doing, let's fight.
Interesting.
Is there a situation or circumstance where you could see prosecutors going into R. Kelly's cell, going into Diddy's cell and saying, if you give me information on Jay-Z, you may get your sentence reduced? Do you see a situation where you see these two music
it's
guys?
happening as we speak.
Mm.
Because they're in federal custody. They're not in state custody.
Right.
So when you're under the federal investigation, that goes across state lines. That gets to go overseas. That goes looking into your trafficking, your offshores account. This is not a state situation. This is federal custody. R. Kelly's attorney, who I was helping him off the books and helped him retain his attorney, he just lost his appeal with the United States Supreme Court. So he has exhausted all of his efforts right now. He has to do the time. The only way he can get outside of doing the time right now, there are only two ways. He gets a pardon from the president of the United States, or he gets talked and a deal is struck. And they work out a deal where they say, well, hey, if you give me what you have on all the artists you work with, and we need proof of it and give us names and information, we might be able to knock 15 years off your sentence. Because remember, in federal, doing federal time versus state time, there's no such thing as going up for parole. In federal time, you have to do 85% of the time, and then they let you out. Look at Big Meech. He did 85% of the time. That's why he's out.
Mm.
Right. Wow.
Damn.
That's an experience, man, that you taking a guy who's toured all over the world, who's been in every immaculate and elaborate place, flying on private jets, and you minimize them to the level of a roach or an ant. I could step on you at any time. So if you don't want to be a roach or ant, well, the next best thing for you to be is a rat.
Ooh. Damn.
Spitting bars right now.
Yeah.